you have your good relationship with the Lord, absorb everything you can. You need to go right then. You practice your gratitude and you shift your perspective. Hello. Welcome to episode 5 of the Ascension to Confidence podcast. I am on the ground because I broke my tripod. So we on the ground with it today. It's just an interesting change of events, right? Today did not go as planned. I had an episode planned out for today, but as I was getting ready, I kept hearing something telling me to talk about how to confidently navigate pivoting when things do not go according to plan. Baby, let me tell you something. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the life that I had planned for myself with me for a second, okay? When I was in high school and I was beginning to wrap my head around adulthood, I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna go to the Air Force after I get my associate's degree. And after I do that, hopefully they send me overseas. And then I'm gonna marry an Italian man and I'm gonna live in France somewhere. Maybe I'll live in Greece. And then I'll have children around the age that I am right now. And I'm just going to take strolls and sip tea and shop at little boutiques. And that is what I thought. None of that has happened yet. I'm still very much so open to marrying that Italian man. Baby, everything ain't gotta miss you. You know what I'm saying? I'm still open to receive that one. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Because the girl in Love and Basketball said them Italian men loved them some black women. Last time I checked, I'm very black. I had this whole thing planned out. And I just knew that was what deep down inside, when I would picture my future, that is what I was picturing. That is what I was thinking about. I knew I always wanted to be a mother, but I never thought I would be a teen mom. I knew I always wanted to get married, but I never thought I would end up divorced. I knew I always wanted to live a healthy lifestyle. I didn't think it would finally click after 12, 13 years. This is a sidebar. Before you criticize yourself for not being able to fully commit to something, I want you to really sit down and consider your circumstances and consider if you have gotten therapy or not. Like, you have to extend yourself a lot of grace when it comes to those things. And I think that is something that it took me a long time to learn. But getting back to the topic of the episode today, how to confidently navigate, how to pivot when things do not go according to plan. The first thing that you're going to need to do is to have a very personal and intimate relationship with, you guessed it, G-O-D. I know. You probably don't want, I get it. But I'm gonna tell you the secret that has kept me hopeful, that has kept me sane. Only my children and my best friend and my cousin know how much I pray. I pray so much. I pray so much. I be talking to God like, people, if you've ever seen me talking to myself, I'm going to say 7 times out of 10, I was talking to God. And the reason it is so important to have a very personal relationship is because you are going to need indicators that you're doing the right thing. You're going to need something that helps you stay centered and grounded, gives you a sense of purpose. And if it comes from all of these man-made external validation, egoic type of things, you are going to lose your momentum every time you're going to give up, you're going to quit. And when I say you're going to give up, you're going to quit, not you're going to quit for a little bit and then the voice of the Lord will reignite that up in you. That's not quitting. That's you growing a little weary. Don't let you grow weary and then you just stop doing what you're supposed to do. You okay, you got a little down. Okay, you prayed about a thing and it didn't manifest the way that you wanted it to. But when you stop and you pause and you really examine your circumstances, after you have cultivated your own personal relationship with the Lord, I think you need to practice a lot more gratitude. When everything is going wrong, a lot of times it's just a shift in perspective. Like, okay, when I was reading The Artist's Way, there was a section about the censor. And the censor is what keeps you from creating at your fullest potential. It's usually a negative voice. It's usually something someone said to you. It's usually a deep internalized fear or fear of rejection. It's something deep inside of you that has convinced you that you're not good enough, that what you're doing is old or it's been done so many times. And it always comes in the midst of you doing something. And it's called a censor because it's censoring you, it's stopping you, right? In the same sense, when you are constructing your life in your mind, you will have censors in your real life. And those are fears. Usually the devil made them. A lot of times you make them yourself. But at the same time, either way, the work got to get done. So you can sit there and sulk, you can give up and live in regret, or you can look at this situation and say, okay, what I got to work with? Once you start seeing things like that, that faith of a mustard seed. Some told me to wear this yellow shirt. Okay. Some say wear the yellow shirt. Mustard yellow. Come on now. Look, once you have that, I'm telling you, you can do so much with just this much faith. Do you see how close? Let me get my fingers real close. Let me get my fingers real close. You can see. That's all you need. And that's all you need, because once you have that bit of faith and you have that relationship with God, like I talked about before, that's when you start collaborating. Now, a situation that looked like it was just impossible to turn around, if you have to take a million tiny little steps to get to the next foot, it might have taken a long time. You might have felt like it was a lot of labor for this little bitty payoff. But what I want you to consider is, now I'm used to making a lot of moves in a very short distance. That's expansion. You don't go through things and not develop skills that you can apply to your situation that are not going to yield you any returns unless you are not seeing it that way. Case in point, when I was in college, I was poor. I've actually been poor for a while. It's no secret. So poor, one semester I could not afford diapers. We ain't trying to dump, you know what I'm saying? But it was rough, right? To think of where I am now, I can look at habits that I planted then that are benefiting me to this day. That was about 13, 14 years ago. Habits of learning how to exercise, learning how to pray as an adult without being forced to go to church and told you have to get up and you have to, just learning how to have my own personal relationship with God, how to make money, learning how to make do with a little bit. Those are all applicable skills to, when I tell you there is nothing that I cannot do, there is nothing that I cannot do. There is no situation that I just always know I'm going to get out of this. Even when it seems really, really dark, it has gotten so dark sometimes that I have definitely contemplated going to the great beyond. Okay. And it seemed like that's the thing to do, but I ain't no sucker. I'm sorry. I ain't saying that if that is what another person decided that they are, but I'm saying me personally, that is how I get myself out of that thought process, because in my mind, that thought, that temporary situation is going to conquer me and make all of the work that I've done up until this point insignificant, null and void. Nah, I'm leaving here with some. Absolutely not. I don't work hard, too hard. I done been through too much. Now I'm coming for my things. All of those bad relationships that you feel like, I just keep meeting all these men. Are you writing your journal? Girl, it's a book in there. It's a book in there. You can't lose no weight. You know what you can do? You can write a book about how not to lose weight. And then somebody else could flip that and be like, if I reverse engineer that thing, boom. Look at you. You are a pioneer and you don't even freaking know it. Girl, please. But it's true. It's true. It's all about your perspective. So you have your good relationship with the Lord, you practice your gratitude, and you shift your perspective. And then learn some patience. Oh, I suck at that. And you know what's funny? Every time, every single time, that picture of the person digging for the carrot, and then it's a little carrot for the person who's eager. For the person who gave up, it was a big carrot or a diamond. It's always a different object the person is digging for, or who gave up and who decided that it wasn't worth it, right? But sometimes in life, it's big carrots for everybody, and people's spirit is what keeps them, or not their spirit, but their perspective or their belief in themselves, or them just yielding to their circumstances keeps them from getting their carrot. You done ran 10 miles, you gonna stop? You only got 2 more to go. If you ain't passed out, keep running. What is wrong with you? Like, think about that. If you are doing what you're supposed to do, if you are working like you're supposed to work, if you are consistent, if you are diligent, what is for you is not gonna miss you. And I feel like this is such a common message, but sometimes people just need to hear somebody else say it. I'ma say it if everybody else done told you. And I am living proof of this. When I got my first apartment, I was 17, and my grandma, she helped me get it. She told me, now, I done gave you the fishing pole. Go fishing. And I said, okay, if you just give him a fishing pole. I can't remember what it is. I have to be a better Christian. I'm going to tell you that much. I do need to be a better Christian. It's actually a little story about that just happened, and it hurt my heart, because I was like, Lord, your people even recognize me? I got to do better, and I do. Because I don't never claim to be perfect. I don't even know why people thinking I think I'm perfect, because I don't. I never said that. She told me that, and when I went to school, I had to learn, like, okay, so you get your financial aid, and then you pay your bills up, and in between, you just got to figure something out. So I did work study, and I was a barista, and I worked at the daycare that was on campus, and I would paint around school, and I would just find little odd jobs. I would do people's hair, and I would clean up people's houses. I was a maid. Any way that I could, I was figuring out a way to be of service, to network with people, to try to have some type of social life. But I was also developing skills, right? The career that I'm in right now, I'm an insurance adjuster. I am an outside adjuster or a field adjuster. Before, when I first started, I was a desk adjuster. When you're an adjuster as a contractor, you get paid a lot of money, right? I was making like $510 a day. No lie. I got the receipts for that. That's real money. That's real money up for the fun. I went from not being able to pay my $1,300 rent to paying $1,000 a week to stay at a hotel. And that's when I realized I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy. I always knew it was more money outside. I always knew there was a way to get to that bag. I always knew that I had the capacity to develop skills that made that type of money. I always knew I had that gift of gab. I always knew that. Because the first couple of jobs that I got, this mouth did it. Not like how you stop being nasty now. That's not what I'm saying. All I did was my job. That's all I ever did for my money. I never stole no kitty cat. I don't do that. Kitty cat should not be for sale. Anyway. But if you want to say okay, baby. I support all the hustles. Clothed and unclothed. Freudian slips. Clothed and unclothed, baby. Do your thing. Yeah, I was making like $510 a day. And the thing about that is, when you make that type of money, you have to learn how to budget, and you have to pay your money over a period. You have to pay your bills up in advance, and skills that I learned back then when I could not see myself out of that situation, when I felt like I was not smart because I could not pass my classes. But it wasn't me not being smart. It was me not having enough support. That's what I meant when I said before you get to criticizing yourself for not being able to do, and this episode might be longer than 30 minutes. But before you get to criticizing yourself for not being able to navigate your way out of this horrible situation, you got to consider all of these factors. Do you have enough support? Are you the first person to do this? Is there anybody you could look at who has done the thing you're trying to do and copy off of them? Copy, copy off of them. What? Y'all be so scared to copy certain things when y'all be copying other stuff. Copy off of how these people be making that money. That's what I did. That's how I got into this field. I said, what you do for money? You don't finish your food. I went to Puerto Rico with my cousin and her friend Zenobia. Thank you, Zenobia. Thank you, Sholay. And I said, Zenobia, what you do for money? Because I noticed y'all ain't getting no left. Y'all ain't taking no leftovers. Why y'all not eating y'all leftovers? No, it's like a thing. Like, that's how you let people know you have money. And I heard that. But I wasn't practicing that. Put my stuff in here so I can eat it for breakfast in the morning. They was like, Alex, just leave it. That's a scarcity mindset. I still ain't wasting no food. So I'm going to eat mine. But I hear you, but I'm going to finish mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take mine with me. I ain't going to take yours because I don't have a scarcity mindset. But I'm for sure, you're right, I'm going to eat mine. So I was like, okay, so what do you do for work? Because we just got this and you decided you didn't like it and you threw it away. That was like $20. And like, what you do? And she told me how much she made. And then she said, this is all you gotta do. And I started doing exactly what she said. And the thing about it was, I did not have the money to pay for after that trip, because that trip was paid for months before that happened. You know how that go. Or maybe you don't, but you will. You will. You pay for the trip, and then the trip come, and I got paid because I was working at Costco and I was working at Publix, and I had just got my tax money. And while I was on the trip, I was waiting for checks to come, and I didn't realize I got paid every week at Publix. So I had just paid bills and paid people back with taxes and Publix check, and all I had was my Costco check, and it was not a lot of money. While I was there, the last day of the trip, the last 2 days, I got paid, and I was like, okay, I know it's gonna be I got paid. And I was really happy about that. And I said, okay, so if I just got paid, how much is that course? She said. Do you see how immediately I went into action? I think that's the fifth step. You got to go into, as soon as you get that intuitive nudge, as soon as you get a little bit of water on your mustard seed, absorb everything you can. And don't you dare wait. You need to go right then. That's one thing I can say about Atlanta. It taught me how to make the moves quickly. You know what? You've been sitting down long enough. You've been dormant long enough. It's time to move. It's time to get up and get to it. Okay? You've been in your head. Okay? You got the plan. You will never know, or you will never be acclimated to all of the pivoting and all of the circumstances that you're going to have to learn to work around if you never get to work in the first place. Let's make that number one. You have to make a decision to actually go to work. You have to make a decision as soon as you decide you want to do anything. You have to prepare your mind for things to go wrong. I'm not saying look at the negative in every situation. I'm saying be so open-minded that you never, ever, ever forget to be solution-oriented. Ever. You do not have the luxury of doing that. Have you been outside? Have you scrolled lately? Are you watching the news? Sit around and wait for who? You better not be doing that. I know you ain't over here doing that. You make a decision that no matter what, this is what I want. If your end goal is I want to be Oprah, get to work. She old. Not saying that her legacy would ever go away. Not saying that her work is done. Not saying that she don't have nothing to offer, but there's room. People get tired. People's way of doing things becomes outdated. We're always looking for something fresh. We're always looking for something innovative. Whatever life experiences you will accumulate along the journey, I'm telling you, they are going to help you be the best new Oprah. We ain't even gonna call it new Oprah. The best new daytime talk show host ever. But if you give up After you, okay, so let's say your situation is you're living with your mom keeps taking all your money. I don't know why someone's telling me to say it like this, but maybe this is your situation. You're living with your mom keeps taking all your money. And every time you get paid, you only got just enough money left over to get a little bit of gas to keep going to work and to eat. And you're like, how am I going to get out of this cycle? That hard thing that you are afraid to do, you got to do it. You're going to have to tell your mama no. You're going to have to start lying. Lie to your mother. If she got your money going to her bank account, one of them days when you get off, this is what you need to do. Lie about a day you got to work. Go get you a different bank account. Go on to the library. Figure out that public transportation. I mean, you gotta shock other people with how you figure stuff out. And I'm something in my spirit is saying this, and I do not want you to take this wrong, but I need you to understand this. Stop being dumb. There is this thing called willful ignorance. And it is when you have the resources available to you to educate yourself on a situation, but you are so complacent, sometimes frozen solid. That is learned helplessness, where you have been crippled by your circumstances and by the thoughts and opinions of others, and you're crushed under all of that pressure. Not to minimize it, but you do have to stop being dumb. If you know you want something and you can directly, clearly identify what the first roadblock in the way, get it out the way. That's your train coming in. So you can get up out your mama house. You better be your boxcar kid. Get on the train. If somebody need to hear that, get on the train and get out of there. Find you a friend. Find you something. Lie to her about the size of your check. Lie to her about them cutting your hours. Tell her that you spending the extra time to go look for a job, so it seemed like to her you better learn how hey, you ain't gonna be able to do everything ethically all the time. I mean, like sometimes you're not gonna be able to keep it a being a buck with people who trying to get over on you. She ain't right for asking you for the money, because she gotta do what she gotta do. And if you're young and you're trying to get on your feet, if you can have a heart to heart with your mom, like, Mom, I'm never gonna be able to get out of here if you keep taking all of my money. I want to be in a position to help you. I do. But if you're taking it from me now, I will never be able to be in a better position to where you don't have to do this. But I need you to work with me. If you do not have the environment to have a conversation like that, lie. Lie. Go on down into that library. Go and get you a pass, figure out that bus. If you live in a rural area, get up out that rural area. Go on down into that college. See if you can get you some financial aid. Work it like I did. Get your financial aid, stack up your stuff, find you an apartment. Work your work study. Work at your part-time job and your work study. And your life is going to be rinse, lather, repeat on it's going to seem like, and I was talking to my best friend about this. I was like, I feel like for so many years I was just going in a circle. And then almost at the same time we said, but it was really a spiral going up. And she was like, yeah. I was like, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like at every level, it was the same thing, but I was perfecting a routine. I was perfecting a certain level of discipline. Every time I decided to make an excuse, the next level, that thing that I was making excuses for, I was given circumstances that forced me to clean it up. So maybe in a situation with your mom, the thing that you are being forced to have to clean up in order to get to the next level of your spiral staircase up the ascension, baby. Come on, somebody's in the room with me today. Amen. Okay. In order to do that, the first thing you need to learn how to do is have difficult conversations with people you love, but you may have to separate yourself from. It's not easy. It is uncomfortable, and you might be homeless. But as a person who has been homeless quite a few times, I'm going to tell you this. If you look at it from a different way, if you have a car, or if you have at least one person who loves you enough to let you stay with them, there are so many other things you can bring to a situation. Not your body. Like I said, I don't believe you should be selling no bunchi. I don't believe you should be selling no kumchi. I don't. Because when you develop that type of mindset, we'll talk about it another time, but I feel like that does something to your psyche that can cause irreparable harm. Y'all talk about how we're going to talk about it. Y'all do what you want to do, but I'm just telling you that's what I think. That's what I think. All right? Their minds are different, and I'm going to leave that there. Now, when you learn how to have that difficult conversation, you will become better at it. Because I'm gonna tell you something that's something that I had to go through. I had to go through a difficult conversation. I love my cousins, but when I got my apartment, they ended up coming to stay with me, and them heifers wasn't paying no rent, and them heifers wasn't buying no groceries, and them heifers wasn't cleaning up, and I had my child, and I said, now we all get our financial aid. Why y'all not paying the light bill? Why y'all not paying the internet bill? Why y'all not paying y'all part? We are, girl. Gosh, you take everything so seriously. And I called my cousin's mama. I said, she's not paying her bills. Do you think that was easy? Do you think I sat there and thought, yeah. No, it took me a while. It took me a while to muster up the courage, because who else was going to do it? They were taking advantage of me at that time. And I'm like, I had to pay all the stuff, and they're not my kids. And I was on food stamps at that time, and I was like, they're eating all of my daughter's food. Like, I get enough for me and her. And I am still a queen at that grocery store, even in 2025. If you want to see how to shop good, go and let me know in the comments, and I'll teach you how to grocery shop, baby. I can teach you how to shop. Okay? But first, I was like, no. And I wrote down all the months. And then my auntie sat down with me and she said, you know something? She affirmed me. She affirmed me. She said, you know something? I applaud you because I didn't raise her to not pay her bills. And you're not wrong. And she got me a receipt book. I think I still have that receipt book to this day. I know I do. I know it's in storage because I just seen it. I still have that receipt book to this day. And every time my cousin got paid, she would write it down, that receipt. And even if she rolled her eyes when I pulled it out, we got that serious with it, because everything that I had at that time, I had to be held accountable for. So my accountability led to the outward expansion of that accountability. If you want to be close to me, babe, you're going to have to be held accountable, because I have things going on, and your stuff can't be interfering with my stuff because I got things to do. And that's just how it was. And you know something? To this day, I have become such an amazing negotiator. Just the way I've learned to carry myself, that brings money in the room. Just that alone, it brings money in the room. When you develop all of these skills from whatever situations the journey puts you in, your perspective will keep watering your mustard seed. And you got to be like a dog about that vision. You have to be so unshakable that it bothers people that you believe in yourself that much. It's that serious. If you say, I want to be like Oprah, don't let nothing but death keep you from it. And that's just that on that. That's how you work that one. Whatever the circumstances are, as long as you have your eye on that thing, I promise you gonna find a way to get there. And here's the thing, even if your circumstances do not permit you to, sometimes just your perspective will have you seeing people around you, or you'll be in rooms of people having conversations about the thing that you're trying to do. And that's when you got to have the nerve, the gumption, the confidence to say, oh, hey, you better learn to advocate for yourself. Yeah, hey, I heard you guys over talking or talking about this. What's going on with that? That was me. Miss in the mix in the business, babes. Oh, what's going on? What club that is? Nosy. Okay. Oh, when the audition for that? Oh, okay. Where you seen the paper for that? Oh, they got housing. Where the housing at? How you sign up for that? Oh, okay. They got pamphlets in there. Okay. Thank y'all so much. Oh my God, what's your name? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thanks. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And go into that office and get your information on this. That's all you got to do. Is sometimes you just need to be still and just listen. Is your blessing in the room? But you so busy. Oh my God, I can't figure it out. Oh my gosh, I just don't know how I'm gonna do it. Woe is me. You can't even hear the blessings are chirping. Sometimes you can be in such a disarray. Your situation can be so shook up, so turned upside down, you think, and you will look up and be like, everything is perfectly placed for me to win. And it is. Who cares if it's upside down? Flip it. Flip it back. Flip it back. I see, why I'm getting emotional. I see my daughters like developing their confidence, and they have to say things to me like, I'll call and maybe they don't want to, don't feel like talking to me. And my youngest daughter, she is so good at that. She's like, okay, Mom, well, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I really appreciate the conversation, and I miss you. I do, because, they live with their dad. And this was really fun, but I want to play it on my tablet now. So I don't want to hear more of your story. And I say, I know that's right. I'll talk to you later, baby. And hang up that phone. Get off that girl phone. She trying to play on that tablet. She done told you she don't want to talk to you no more. Now get up off that phone. She said bye. And I go. My feelings ain't hurt. I'm so proud. I am so proud. And then the way she does it is like, you trying to let me down easy. You love me. You handling me with care. You letting me know you appreciate me, but you got to go. You're learning how to prioritize yourself. Perspective. If you have a personal situation, now I cannot figure your life out for you. And that is the whole reason behind me saying, don't be dumb. You got to want that thing for real. You have to decide, because sometimes when things are mapped out for you and you're used to that, you have that baby bird syndrome, it becomes harder. It becomes a lot harder to get your wheels spinning, because somebody else has been spinning them for you all your life. And when they stop, you like, what happened to all my motion? Baby, turn the wheels. Use your feet. Come on. Put Ben and Jerry to work and get your things. You ain't no exception to the rule. Everybody got to work. Everybody got to figure it out. And if you have a problem with figuring it out, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem with your life. Okay? I'm saying that because I can give you resources. I could write a list of do this, 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 and this, and this. But the truth of the matter is, it's up to you to follow through. If you do not have that dog in you, if you don't have that grit, if you don't want it bad enough, when your back is up against the wall and you're between a rock and a hard place, you're going to quit. And you're going to throw out that list that I gave you. You're going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. You're going to say I'm full of crap and I'm just over here doing hope card. And it's not really real. And she doesn't really know what she's talking about. And everything is a lot harder than what she's saying. And some people just don't understand. And that's what you're going to say. And you know what? When you give up and you tell yourself that, you're going to be absolutely right. Because that's where you stopped. And this is why being creative is so freaking important. And why having a well-developed imagination is so beautiful. And that's why I started this podcast, because I feel like a confident person, even if you're a baby to it, just the fact that you're trying at all. So I hope that this was beneficial.